Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Cloud Nerchuko. My name is Fanindra and today's video is about I am giving you a demo on how to create an Azure SQL database with a pay-as-you-go model. So let's get started. So click on first of all sign into your Azure account and search for SQL database. Click here and then click on create. Click on SQL database. So now you can see here. So now we need to fill all the details to create this pay-as-you-go SQL database. So first of all, the subscription by default I chosen the pay-as-you-go, and then resource group is Azure Demo. By default, this Azure Demo resource group is chosen, and the database name. So let me give the database name as SQL DB Cloud Nerchuko. So this is my database name, and the server I will create a new server, SQL Server Demo CN. So this is my server, and the location. My subscription does not have access to create this server in this particular location. So I'm choosing South India. So choose your location, and then you can choose your authentication methods out of these three. The first one is Entra only authentication, and then second is SQL and Entra, and then third one is SQL authentication only. So I'm choosing SQL authentication for this demo. So I'm giving some random admin login name and the password. I will generate a new password from password generator. So last pass. So copy the password here and then let me close this. So save it. So here I'm providing my password and click on OK. So now my server will be created and then it is showing up here. And so in this demo we are not creating any Azure Elastic pool for SQL database, so no is chosen. And the workload environment, so for the demo purpose you can choose development, and these are all default settings provided for the compute and storage. If you want you can also change it. So by default it is 1 vCore and 32 GB storage of memory, and you can see the cost on the right side as well. So talking about the service tier and compute tier, so you can see general purpose is most budget friendly, and we got also the serverless model here, which is provision and serverless. So if you want to provision by default some number of vCores and all, you can also choose these out of these three modes as well. So you can configure the max vCores and min vCores. So depending on the configuration or the tier service tier level, you can change these configurations. And there is a DTU model which is serverless. So here you can choose how many DTUs you want. So you can choose out of these three models, which is standard, basic and premium. So when you are choosing higher model, you will get more DTUs. That's what you can observe here. So for the demo purpose, you can choose the general purpose serverless with 1 vCore and 32 GB storage. And the backup redundancy have two options for this. One is local and the other one is geo redundant backup. So we'll obviously choose local redundant for demos. So, and then networking. So you can select whether you want to give public access. You can enable the public endpoint or private endpoint. You can deploy it. So currently I'm choosing no access, so later you can change this configuration. And the connection policy, so Microsoft recommends redirect connection, so that client establish the connection directly to the node hosting the database, so it is fast and very less latency. So because the client directly establish connection to the node where the database is hosted, and the proxy is something different, which Azure creates some default SQL database gateways. So your client connections will go through these gateways, so which adds some latency to the network. And by default, this is the default one if you want to use both proxy and redirect. So you can see redirect policy for all client connections originating inside of Azure except private endpoint connections. So it will use redirect, and the client connections which are originating from outside of Azure, it will choose proxy. So we'll go by redirect as recommended. You can see this documentation page if you want to learn more about uh, these three radio buttons, right? Default, proxy, and so you can see here everything is documented. You can go through this document. I will leave this description in the link, or you can click on here when you're trying to create the database. And then encrypted connections, TLS 1.2 by default it is enabled. And then go into security. So these are additional configuration which you can configure if you want. And I'm going directly to additional settings. So here you can choose the existing data if you want to bring from the backups, or you can choose the sample database if you want to deploy any sample DB like Azure Adventure Works LT database. In the free SQL database, you don't have this option to load the existing data from your backups, or even to choose a sample. We haven't seen any option such like that. So if you choose pay as you go, you will get this option. And database collation, you can choose the default, or you can find a collation and choose that. And the maintenance window, so by default this is the time 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. Indian time, and if you can choose your other timings as well. So this is about additional settings. And tags, you can give some tags here if you want to track this resource. And then review plus create. So you can see the total cost on the right side, or here 5.98 USD per month, and plus compute cost per week or per second, per week or second. So storage cost is different and week or cost is different. So this is serverless. So this is how the charge will be like. I'm just creating the resource. So before creating the resource, you can choose all these basic details and the networking and all the tabs whatever we filled in. If everything is correct, I'm go ahead and click on create. I'm clicking on create button. So now you can see the deployment is in progress. So it is started. So while the deployment is in progress, it usually takes 1 to 2 minutes on the resource. For the SQL database, it will be completing fast. And if you are finding these Azure demos helpful, please hit the subscribe button and enable the notification. So whenever I post videos regularly on Azure demos, you will be receiving it. So don't forget to share the videos to your friends, or like this video if you love this content. And also I will show you my YouTube channel, Nerchuko. So this is my YouTube channel, and you can see here, and this is my YouTube channel. I post videos on Azure demos, and also I have demos available for Fabric mirroring of 4 SQL database, Postgre, and SQL managed instance, Azure SQL DB, and Cosmos DB NoSQL API. So I have created mirroring concepts on the Fabric as well, and also I have a blog as well. So you can see all the posts. I will write some posts whenever I find time on migrations and also on topics on databases and on Azure cloud. I hope if you find it useful, you can visit my blog and find the articles respected to your topics here using the keywords. Yeah, so let's check back our resource. So the deployment is in progress. Let me refresh. So now you can see the resource is deployed. Go to the resource. So this is a pay-as-you-go SQL database created using Azure Portal, and you can see the status online and the data center, the host name, the connection string. You can click on here and you will get the connection string to connect from various data sources towards your SQL database hosted on cloud, and also the pricing tab and also auto pause delay, which is enabled for the pay-as-you-go SQL database. And you can connect to the SQL database using Visual Studio as well as SMS as well. Just need to grab the host name and the connection strings. And also you got a query editor if you want to query this database which we added onto the SQL database. So currently it is in preview mode. You just need to provide your password and sign in, log into your SQL database and query the data tables where our adventure works LT is created, right? And you can control all the settings here like compute and storage, connection string. You can increase it, you can decrease it, you can change the service tier from general purpose to hyperscale business critical, and also you can choose this DTU purchasing model as well. So this is all about Azure SQL database, single SQL database using pay as you go. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.